Can you hear me okay? You guys sound low.
Hey, Chief.
Hey, Barb.
Let's see. Just step besides it can go. Okay, thanks. Okay.
Hi. How are you? Good. Gonna grab my. You said getting stronger every day? Oh, I didn't know you were under the weather. Oh, wow. Sorry to hear that. I'm glad you're getting stronger. Oh, this stuff is. Yeah. Okay. I'll grab my other computer.
ask you to state your name and where you're located. And if one person would speak at a time, that way we can hear whoever's speaking. And if you'd like to be acknowledged, raise your hand or flag me on the digital hand raising, and we can call on you. I think that's all. The meeting's called to order, and if you can, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
and to the
the
republic,
republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Mrs. Vert,
Present, Flint Township.
Mrs. Fafdal is absent. Mrs. Anderson,
President, Flint Township.
Ms. Miller,
Present, Orange, California.
Mrs. Funk, Flint Township, Mr. Klee,
Present, Flint Township.
Ms. Campbell,
Present, Flint Township.
And as I mentioned, Trustee Fafdal is not able to be with us. Her daughter has graduated and she attended the graduation. So we'll move on to item number 6. Do we have any additions or deletions to this evening's agenda? I don't think so.
no, we do not.
Move on to item number 7. Are there any corrections of the minutes from April 19th, 2021? I'm not seeing anything or hearing anything. So Madam Clerk, roll call please to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting of April 19th, 2021.
Mrs. Vert,
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Funk, yes. Mr. Klee,
Yes.
Ms. Campbell, Ms. Campbell? Okay. Motion or minutes are approved.
Thank you. We'll move on to public comment. If you'd like to address the board, I'd ask that you would let me know and state your name. And you'll be given 4 minutes to address the board. I see Mr. Seward, you have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. Regardless where we have lived during our marriage, we have been active in our local communities. We are coming up to 5 years living in Flint Township. And I know that pales in comparison with most of you that have lived here much longer. Many of you have lived here all your lives, but I'm hoping that by now we've established a few things, Mary Beth and I. The first being that we care about our community. We care about Flint Township. Secondly, we very much care about public safety. If you want to retain good people and if you want to attract good people, you have to have good public safety. And that encompasses all 3 phases, not only police and fire, but also emergency medical response. During my career, not only did I have many security and fire credentials, I was also a licensed EMT. And I don't know when the last time that we've done a check-in with our local ambulance service to see what type of staffing and credentials they have. But as during this pandemic, as people are struggling, people are frontline workers leaving and quitting jobs, I think we owe it to ourselves to do a check-in on our EMS services. Just like when you have an emergency and you call the police and fire, you want to know that there's going to be an adequate response time. And more importantly, once the people arrive, that they are trained and qualified and know what they're doing. And I can't stress enough that also encompasses the EMS and paramedics. So I don't know the last time you've done a check-in on our ambulance service, but I'd like to encourage you to do so. And thirdly, I'm hoping that Mary Beth and I have established that not only do we care about the community and public safety, but we also very much care about all of you. We are not always going to agree on everything, just like you don't always agree on everything. But I think if we have some good discussions and we are professional about how we handle our dealings with each other, we are gonna move forward and do some great things in this community. There have been some times when we have struggled during meetings, and I just think in a couple instances, it's been a little unprofessional. I know that Mary Beth and I a couple times have felt uncomfortable with some of the things that have been going on, especially when someone calls out someone's spouse. That gets really to the point where we back off and we blackened our screen because we didn't want to actually be a part of those type discussions. So anyway, I'm just asking you, let's please do what we can for our community. Let's be professional. And if need be, if there's some disconnect, maybe you can hold sidebar meetings and seek some resolution and team building. But as always, Mary Beth and I really appreciate you and thank you for your time.
Karen, you're on mute.
That makes it hard to hear. So thank you, Mr. Seward. Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board? Move on to reports. We have a few things on the agenda that I have on there, but other than that, I don't have a report. I did include something that Tara sent to us, and it's in the correspondence items. It's B or 13B. And I'll just mention that Tara is having trouble staffing their trucks, with COVID issues and quarantining, but also they're having a hard time getting people to work. And so for the next 3 weeks, we're going to suspend curbside pickup of recycling, and they're going to pick up, they'll have a truck at the township collecting people's recycling if they want to dump it there. You can also go to Tara. It's listed on our website where you can go to rewards for recycling. I think it's on Dort Highway near Webster Road. But anyway, the address is on our website. You can go there too. You can go there every day if you need to. But for the next 3 weeks, there will be regular trash pickup on Thursdays. There will be regular yard waste pickup on Thursdays, but the recycling will not resume again until June 10th. And so if you have any other questions or need some answers or information, please give us a call at the township and we'll try and help you there. But again, there will be a truck at the township parking lot to collect the recyclables on Thursdays for the next 3 weeks as we suspend that curbside recycling. So that information is in the correspondence items for the trustees. And other than that, I have nothing else for my report. Madam Clerk, do you have a report this evening?
Karen, can we get them to stay any longer than 4:30? I think for a lot of people that work, that's a very kind of a tight timeline to try to make it over there.
I'll ask. I know that
Okay.
by contract, I think their days end at that time. I'll check it out.
Okay, thanks.
And if we can, we'll put that on our website. And I know Rewards for Recycling has close to 4,000 emails. I know that we worked with Tara to get a postcard out to every resident who pays an assessment for waste services. But we will post it on our website and the Facebook page and email the people who have given their email to Rewards for Recycling if we can extend that time. We'll try and get the word out, okay?
Great.
All righty, thank you. Madam Clerk, do you have a report for us this evening?
I have kind of a lengthy report due to the election and due to us not having a meeting on May 3rd. I just wanted to state that for the May 4th election, we had a very low turnout at the precincts, the 7 combined precincts out of the 15. We had 359 voters. We sent out 4,065 ballots. And of that, 3,234 ballots were returned, which is an 80% return rate. I want to thank Deputy Angie Tygeson, Election Specialist Jackie Forrest, Paul Nebraski, and then members of the Absentee Counting Board, Karen Barnes, Jean Herda, Megan DeLorge, Tara Provost, Nancy Kelly, Carol Jones, and Annette Marks for their hard work and for us smoothing out the process using our new high-speed scanner. A little bit easier this time with well, a third of the, even less than a third of the votes that we had in November. The counting board handled all the absentee ballots efficiently and in record time. I also want to thank Trustee Debbie Campbell for stepping up to the plate and spending a good majority of her day at the polling location. I know it was slow, but it was a good opportunity to see all the prep work that goes into an election and then all the work that goes into it that day as well. I want to thank all the election inspectors. I've always said, and I will always say, we have the best in the state. And I want to thank the voters for taking part in the democratic process. Normally, we would have seen probably half of what we did for an election like this, for a special election that had a millage renewal and a millage proposal. I also want everyone to know that the clerk's office will be intermittently closed. I'm dealing with a back and rib injury that's not healing. And I also have the one remaining employee that I have is on leave. Just as to throw it out there, I'm not going to go into it. I've sent numerous inquiries to Supervisor Miller and Treasurer Anderson as members of the Personnel Committee about our cleaning person. And I haven't gotten any answers. We need to do something about that. And for the past several weeks, I've received numerous residents inquiring as to when our meetings will be held in person again. We have some people who would very much like to see us meet again in person. And finally, since Madam Supervisor went over the her information that's contained under information and correspondence, I have quite a lengthy packet there. It's from the county. This is actually our audit excuse me, this is actually our audit report following the May 4th election. They are now sending them out to the jurisdiction so you can see where you had errors or omissions. We had no errors, no omissions, and I will tip my hat again to Deputy Tygeson, Jackie Forrest, Megan DeLorge, and all the election workers, because this paperwork is done after 15 to 16 hours of work, and then it all comes together. So really, we're busy in the morning getting everything set up. We're busy throughout the day, and then you have to turn around and you have to get all the paperwork together. So this is the first time that I've seen it where we haven't had any errors and omissions. Usually there's a signature missed or something like that. So I just want to give a shout out to everybody for that hard work. And that concludes my report.
Madam Treasurer, do you have a report for us this evening?
No, I do not.
We'll move on to trustee reports. I'll call you by name. Trustee Vert, do you have a report for us this evening?
I do. I just want to touch base on our cleanup in the township, and it is going very well. We've had between 40 and 50 volunteers in the last 4 Saturdays. We've had 112 bags of garbage, tires, beds, and automobile parts. But it's going very well. It's amazing how much fast food debris is in our township. That's 90% of what's out there, or I could even say 99%. And that's a shame. So And just this past Saturday, we did not get to the end of Dutcher Road because of the time. We only do it for a couple hours, and we had 31 bags of garbage just from Dutcher in the Genesee Valley parking lot to Lennon Road. That's a lot. But also I wanted to let them know that the dumpster in the township parking lot is not for recycling. It is for the yard waste that we're picking up. So, because they're using that, they'll come in and dump their recycling in it.
I mentioned to Dan, if they put the truck in the parking lot next to the dumpster, there may be a crossover. We
Right.
also, stickers, you know, the compost
Yeah.
or the waste and the recycling, it says no recycling, yard waste only. But I think given the situation, Barb, that people are anxious to dump that recycling, I think
They are.
we understood that it was going to happen. And that
Right, and but I just still wanted to mention it. There are signs on there, but I still wanted to bring it up. So, yep. So, but it's going very well. Very good.
thank you for the work that you're doing. And I know Tracy's been assisting with that too.
Right. Just one more thing. I wanted to thank Neil and Mary Beth. They are weeding the garden at the police department. And let me tell you, that is not an easy job. Those weeds over there just are pretty stubborn, but they're helping me get started on that. And they are making very good headway. So thank you to them.
Thank
Very
you.
much appreciated.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Trustee Klee, do you have a report for us this evening?
You kind of touched on it in that, and we all are aware of it. I've just been contacted by at least a half a dozen to a dozen residents concerned about obviously the recycling, and asking about the concern about some of the elderly folks driving either to the township hall and or to the Dort Highway location. So, and the other piece would be is some have asked.
If there's elderly people who need help in that pickup, ask them to give Rose a call at the township and we'll see what we can do to help them. But I mean, it's limited to people who have either a disability or are not able to walk a great distance or can't get out and drive. In those rare instances, have them call the township. They have services for them.
All right. And of course, and it's Dan, and I know you're going to talk about it, but folks have asked about what kind of a credit they would receive. So I'll relay that it is here in the board meeting and the board packet, and they can we'll be following up on that at a later date.
So I can just let you know, I've already spoken with Beth Takis, our controller, that when it comes time to calculate the waste assessment, the garbage assessment that goes on the tax bill, the credit that we receive from MTerra will go to the residents for non-pickup of recycling. So they'll see that reflection in the assessment on their winter tax bills, right, Beth? Yeah, the winter tax bill.
All
Sorry
right, cool.
to call you out on the spot there. Alrighty, continue, Tom.
I'm just writing my notes. Hang on their winter tax bill. All right, no, I'm good, and I just want to say, living close to the mall and seeing what the crews have been doing, it's making a huge difference. And Barb is absolutely right. It's horrible to see people driving down the road. They'll pull out of McDonald's at 6:45 in the morning. I'm turning the corner to head up to school, and they flip their thing right out the window. And I stop, I yell, I get told I'm number one in their life because I'll stop and pick up a can and throw it in the back of my truck because it just irritates you. But the respect level is dropped to nothing. But we can't fix everything, but we can try and stay together. So thank you.
Thank you. So Trustee Campbell, do you have a report for us this evening?
No, just a comment about, I really appreciate Barb and Tracy kind of taking the initiative on doing the trash pickup. My family went out and helped one day, and I think it's good for my grandkids to see that people are out there doing it. And one of the kind of fun parts was people honking by that part of near Ballinger and Miller, that like you were on strike, they were supporting, like, yay. So hopefully I'm working with educators at Sloan Museum. I've talked to them about it. Can we get kids out there picking up trash themselves, because they might help deter the adults that don't seem to know better. And instead of top down, maybe bottom up. And sometimes that can work. So I'm kind of on a little crusade where I can be about the trash. I agree. It's just unbelievable, you know?
Already we'll move on to staff reports. Chief Salter, do you have a report for us this evening?
Yes, ma'am, I do. Thank you. Since April 15th, your police responded to over 2,500 calls, which is about a 92.5 average, with over 150 traffic stops, 180 business checks, and about 60 residence checks. I think Trustee Vert stole my thunder in thanking Neil and Mary Beth for their volunteering work at the front of our police department. I went out and talked to them the other day, and I'll say thank you guys. It looks a lot better than it did before, and it is a lot of hard work. Retired Detective Scott Robinson. I don't know if some of you remember him or not, but he passed away last week. He retired from our police department in 2002 after serving the township for over 25 years. And his funeral is tomorrow. As most of you are aware, there's a homicide 2 weeks ago on Heatherly. 3 people were involved in the incident. 1 died from his injuries and 2 others have been charged with felonies. And just some of the different types of calls that have been going on last night. We had an incident involving a person with a gun threatening a motorist. When our officers attempted to stop her, she fled. She was eventually stopped after she ran one of our patrol cars, and the car was unable to move. And she was later lodged at the Genesee County Jail for a multitude of felonies. Some of today's events that I didn't jot down for notes, as we were on a fatal accident on Bristol and Van Slyke, there was a shooting that went out in the southern part of the township that we're actually still on scene investigating. So our guys have been they've been busy. And lastly, I'd like to recognize Officer Lance Sherwood. Since May 5th, he has taken 4 illegal guns off the street through proactive police work. I think it's a great job by him trying to make our streets safer for our residents in our community. And I have 1 item for the agenda.
Thank you, Chief Salter. Assistant Chief Raleigh, do you have a report for us from the fire department?
Yes, ma'am. Since the last board meeting, the fire departments responded to 54 calls, 4 which were structure fires, and 1 large brush fire that happened in the 5,000 block of Flushing Road along the river. We were assisted by Swartz Creek and Flushing for the grass fire, and for one of our structure fires, we were assisted by Flushing Fire Department. Our inspection program is off the ground and running. And since the last board meeting, we have conducted 32 fire inspections, 8 plan reviews, and assisted in 1 fire investigation. So the fire marshal's position is putting into work and starting to show some good results. And that's all I have for my report. Thank you.
Thank you. I know Chief Salter and I, and it'll include you too, Assistant Chief Raleigh, have been working on ideas for cost recovery, and more information will come a little later down the line. We're working with Peter Goodstein on that, just to let the trustees know. So Tracy, Ms. Tucker, do you have a report for us this evening?
Yes, so I'll start with the Pick It Up campaign, since everybody was talking about that earlier. Barb Vert has been working extremely hard on this, and while I appreciate people recognizing my work, it's been very little in comparison to what Barb has done. I also want to thank the C Words who have been out and picked up. Carol Pfaffdahl and her husband have also been out to pick up, and Trustee Campbell and her family have been out to pick up. There's been National Junior Honor Society students and a multitude of other residents and church groups have been out to help, along with Officer Chiza has been there, I believe, every week. And so we have 1 week left. This week, we're meeting at the parking lot in the Kingdom of Heaven Ministries building there at 2430 Dutcher Street, and they're going to work on Dutcher again. So anybody who would like to come, I'm just reminding you, I think Barb already mentioned this, but I'm going to mention it again. Come on out, because she's going to need some more help. We do have gloves, we have bags available, and just bring yourself and a mask if you want to wear it. We are outside, so that's up to you. Planning Commission met last week.
Before you
They approved a new pavilion at St. George's on Lennon Road. They approved a parking reconstruction at the Play It Again Sports Complex on Miller Road. They also approved a site plan for Tommy's Car Wash in the old Chuck E. Cheese property, where that building will be torn down and a new building will be erected. And then they also voted to recommend the zoning case that is coming up for just the introduction tonight, to set, to move forward for the second reading at the next meeting. Also on road projects, the road commission has put Lincor, Taft, Mansour, along with Neridia out for bid. That should be back to us by the 24th of this month. So we would like the supervisor to consider a special meeting for the 25th, so that we have time to create the role for the special assessment district, and then set a public hearing for the June 7th meeting. Also, the last of the projects, which is Austin Parkway and I'm forgetting, Holiday Drive, are supposed to go out for bid any day now. So those will follow as soon as we can get them. We'll get you the dates on those. We're hoping it'll be 2 weeks after these come in. So we're hoping to have them to you for approval either prior to the first meeting in July or at the first meeting in July. And I think that's all I had to report so far.
I
Questions?
tried to interrupt you a little bit earlier. I just wanted to recognize that on the second cleanup, we partnered with HAP.
Yes.
And who was there from HAP?
I don't even remember. To be honest with
Was it
you.
Bridget
You
Hellingsworth
had
or Steve?
Omar and some of his had a couple of people show up.
They're from
And then Northgate did they have 13 people? Was
Great.
it? They had 7 people. But they ended up with a multitude of bags, a baby crib, a tire. They found all kinds of stuff on the trail. So they had a pretty good group that day. And
HAP provided orange juice and donuts. I wanted to recognize that. I know that you've brought some water, and I wasn't at the last 2 cleanups. And I know you had the National Honor Society. I think you mentioned that, right, Barb? From Carmen Ainsworth. And there's a couple of groups from the church, Kingdom of Heaven. No, not Kingdom of Heaven. The Jehovah Witnesses out of Flint with Melissa Kay. So she invited them to come. So I know that there's been a lot of people who've showed interest and have come to help try and keep up with Barb, but anyhow.
yeah, she's like the Energizer Bunny. But we had one last thing. Economic Development Corporation does have a meeting tomorrow, EDC, and anybody that wants to get into that Zoom meeting, just go to the calendar and it's on there. But what's on the agenda for tomorrow is a presentation from Glenn Wilson from Communities First. That's the residential project, mixed use project that we approved, or that this board approved for Flushing Road. So might be interesting if you'd like to hear from him, what he has to say and where they're at on the project. That's tomorrow at 4:30.
Thank you, Tracy.
And I think that's it.
Yeah, you mentioned about the Planning Commission. Tom, you represent the zoning board, but I don't think we have a meeting there, right, Tracy?
No,
And
they will have a meeting in June, and it'll be June 9th.
All right, we'll hear from Tom then. And then John White's idea of a report from the Road Advisory Committee?
Yeah, I can give a quick
You're cutting out.
report. Actually, I got some information from Genesee Metro. I'm on. Can you hear me okay?
Now we can.
Can you hear me okay, Karen?
Yes.
See what happens. There's a list of projects, safety projects from the Genesee County Metro Alliance for 2023. 3 of them are in Flint Township. One is Beecher Road. And it's rehabilitating and lane reconfiguration from Graham Road to Ballinger Road. Another one is Linden Road, and it's actually Hill Road to Linden Creek Parkway. And that's also micro servicing and lane reconfiguration. And then River Road, they're going to do something to the curve where it's 1,300 feet north of Beecher Road. They're going to put a high friction surface on that, and all of those safety projects to the county. The other thing the county that I forwarded to Karen was trail counts. And they have an opportunity to put their counters on our trail. And I know Supervisor Miller, I believe she forwarded that on to the county and was asking to have that done. And there was one other thing here. I don't see it right here. Anyways, we had our road advisory meeting. And in that meeting, Graham Road was in this year's projects, but that was not put in.
You're cutting out, John. So the connection's poor.
Yeah, he's froze.
Yeah. John, we're gonna have to get an update on that at the next meeting, okay? Because you're frozen now and we're gonna have to move on. So we'll move on to number 11 on the agenda. And I know everyone can see our controller, Beth Tack, is here with. So, John, I'm not.
Funding for.
Yeah, Jerry. Oh.
There we go. So I wanted to make sure everybody got the retirement letter from Beth Takis. Her last day working for the township will be May 27th, 2021. And I'm just going to officially read her retirement letter. Dear Township Board members, please accept this as my official notification of my intent to retire from Flint Township. My last work day will be May 27th, 2021, and my retirement will be effective June 1st, 2021. I feel very fortunate to have been hired to work for Flint Township nearly 32 years ago. I'm confident that Kevin McIntyre will continue to efficiently run the accounting department. I'm truly blessed to have worked with many wonderful people over the years, especially the staff in the accounting department and sewer and water department who have made my job so much easier. And I know that we just shared the proclamation, and I'd like to read that in honor of Beth's retirement. And so I'll do that now. Whereas Controller Beth Takis has upheld the financial integrity and honor of the Charter Township of Flint during her 32 years of service to the residents, business owners, and elected officials. Whereas Ms. Takis has served with professionalism and grace while keeping a laser sharp focus on the financial viability and stability of Flint Township. Whereas Ms. Takis has shown the same professionalism and grace to her staff while treating them as if they were a part of her own family. And whereas Ms. Takis began her career with Flint Township, serving in the Treasurer's Department as a clerical employee, then a transfer to the accounting department ultimately led to her tenure as controller. Whereas Mrs. Takis has served as the director of the Sewer and Water Department from 2016 to 2021. Whereas Ms. Takis has received accolades from the Michigan Municipal League, elected officials, and more importantly, the auditors for setting the highest accounting and budgeting standards. And whereas Ms. Takis has been a voice of knowledge and expertise during annual budget preparations. Whereas Mrs. Takis has balanced the demands as a public servant while remaining a loving, caring wife to her husband, Rick, supportive and loving mother to Clinton and Melissa, and a faithful member of St. Robert's Bellarmine, where she has taught religious education while balancing her career and family life. And whereas the Charter Township of Flint wishes to publicly recognize the significant contributions of Controller Beth Takis to the Flint Township community. Now, therefore, the Board of Trustees of the Charter Township of Flint, on behalf of the staff and residents, do hereby issue this proclamation to honor Beth Takis and to recognize her time and dedication to the community and to the residents of the Charter Township of Flint. I want to go back to Beth. I know that brings tears to my eyes, but Beth, I would want to give the board, you can't hear them because they're clapping because they're on mute, but I would like to give time to everybody to say something to you, because it's not often that you have an employee who, to the very end of her career, gives her all and does her best. And you're one of the hardest working people I've ever met, and I thank you for your service. We're going to miss you. Madam Clerk, did you have anything you wanted to say?
Yes, you will definitely be missed. And that was a hard proclamation to write, because I kept wanting to say that you're tenacious, kind of like a bulldog with the budgets and everything, but I couldn't think of a nice way to say it because you're so nice and charming and everything, even while you're being forceful with us to save money. So it's been a pleasure working with you when I started as an employee and now as an elected official. You've been nothing but gracious and kind and a friend and coworker. And I'm going to start crying, so I have to stop now. So,
Lisa, did you want to say anything?
Yes, I want to say, Beth, it's been just a joy working with you. You are very knowledgeable, very professional, all of the things that everybody has already said. You've always been there for me. Any information that I've ever needed, any help that I've needed, you've never hesitated. You're very prompt, and I really, really do appreciate everything that you've done for me to make my job easier. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustees, I'll call Trustee Vert. Did you have anything you wanted to say anything?
Okay, I just wanted to say also thank you, Beth, for everything you've done in the years that I've been an elected official. And I hope you get a chance to really relax, really take the time to relax and really enjoy your retirement. So thank you.
Trustee Klee?
Thank you. Beth, as everyone has stated about the time as an elected official, and I go back a lot longer than that with servicing as an employee with Roseanne and that, and just the friendships we've created and the things that you and I personally discussed about family and medical issues. And I appreciate the quiet time we've had together on that. And big hugs, kiddo. And like Barb said, look, girl, relax, go to your happy place, go up north, go wherever you can go that it's nice, and just enjoy some sunshine. And don't wait for that phone to ring, because we're not going to call you. Well, we might call you to ask a question, but don't answer it. Don't answer it if it comes in 732. Good luck, kiddo.
Thank you. I'm not making any promises about not calling her. Trustee Campbell?
Kudos to you, Beth, for anybody to have been so well thought of and so regarded as doing outstanding job for that many years till the end, which is what I aspire to do myself in my job. So kudos to you, congratulations, and enjoy your well-earned retirement.
So I didn't know if anyone else wanted to say anything, but Beth, I really did try and push the auditors to get their audit presentation done so that they could be here, so we could embarrass you a little bit more. Because I know you don't like the spotlight on you, but thank you for all that you've done. And if everybody wants to unmute and give a hand clap, that'd be great. All righty, thank you, Beth.
Thank you. I appreciate all of your kind words, and just feel very fortunate to have worked for Flint Township. I will miss you all.
Thank you.
And I will answer the phone if you call.
You got it. So you have a good evening. We'll talk to you tomorrow at work.
All righty, thank you.
Bye-bye. Number 12, Madam Treasurer.
So we did not have any bills that needed to be approved, but I did want to acknowledge that on April 21st, we had payments of $91,704.57. On April 28th, we had payments of $30,890.43. And on May 5th, we had $131,966.50 for a total of $254,561.50.
Thank you. So action item number 13, we've already mentioned, Madam Clerk and I, the correspondence and informational items. We'll move on to new business. Action item A, you have before you, it's the promotion of Kevin McIntyre to Controller or Finance Director, however we want to call it. Let me pull that information up. A motion would be in order to move forward. And as we discuss that, there's a couple things I want to draw to your attention.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Is there a
Anderson supports.
Alrighty, so is there a discussion? I know I was asked today to make sure that everything was accurate, and I know there's one change that needs to be made, which follows along with the similar benefits that ASME get, is that when there's a retiree, it's $20,000 of life insurance, not the $50,000. So that has to change. Does anyone have any other changes that they want to present before we vote on this? Anyone? No? No further discussion? With the change of the amount of life insurance, Madam Clerk, roll call please on approving the service agreement with Kevin McIntyre as our new controller or finance director.
Just so we're clear, it's retirement help or life insurance.
Yeah, the retirement life insurance. So
Yes.
while he's working, he gets the
50,000. Yes,
when he retires, he would get that.
correct.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Mrs. Anderson,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Funk, yes. Mr. Clee,
Yes.
Ms. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Vert,
Yes.
motion carries.
So we go on to action item B. Are you, Tracy, are you still with us?
She's not. Remember, she had to leave to work on a project.
No, I'm here. I'm here. Sorry. I was remoting into my computer at work.
Do you want to give a small detail about the amendment to the sign ordinance?
There's a change to the sign ordinance. You see it's highlighted in the information that you received. When we allowed reader boards, we put in the ordinance at the time to not allow any variances at all for reader boards. The supervisor has asked for that to change, making it a part of their site plan review to where it's reviewed as an entirety due to the sizing differences of lots within the business districts. I think was one of the reasons they cited, and that, you know, not every property is the same. So they wanted to leave that open as a part of an entire package instead of just one size fits all.
So basically, this is a first reading this evening and we don't have to take action on it.
Right.
So
This is just an introduction of what the change is.
thank you very much.
Mhm.
We move on to action item C. If you want to proceed.
Okay, action item C, I believe, is the
Easement?
pull up the agenda packet here. Is
Easement,
that the resignations?
easement.
Easement.
Oh, the trail easement. Sorry, I've got it up here now.
Sorry.
So what they're looking for, this is the trail project that working with the city of Swartz Creek, we will be extending the trail from our park that's in front of the police station at Dye Road. It will cross Dye Road and then follow down Miller Road to the Elms Road Park on Elms Road. And that's in the city of Swartz Creek. This is a multi-jurisdictional project with grant funding. The DDA has already approved to pay the township portion of the funding for this project. And what they need from this board now is to approve the easement and allow the supervisor to sign any required documents to facilitate the granting of the easement. That's what they're looking for right now. And if you look at the sketch, the easement itself is on the northeast corner of Norco and Dye Road.
So a motion would be in order to move forward?
I make a motion, we move to approve this easement.
Is there a second to the motion?
Or
Okay,
I'm not sure who that was.
Barb jumped in ahead. Barb got it.
Trustee Vert, second. Is there any questions or comments on this easement? No. All righty, we'll move forward. Madam Clerk, roll call please on approving the easement.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Funk, yes. Mr. Clee,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Campbell,
Yes,
Mrs. Vert,
yes,
Mrs. Anderson,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Action item D, Mrs. Tucker.
This is the acceptance of resignations from various boards. While the board was informed that these people had resigned, we never actually did a formal acceptance of the resignations. And in speaking with the attorney, he would like to see that in a formal manner. So there are a few on here. The first one is Robbie Warrior from the Planning Commission. His was effective November of 2020. Sonia Rubel from the Planning Commission, effective January 2021. John Kogel from the Flint Township DDA, effective April 2021. Miles that's not McKee, it's McPhee, from the Flint Township DDA, effective January 2020. Ed Burns from the EDC, effective January 2020. And Frank Castle from the Road Advisory Committee, effective May 2021. So I just need a motion to accept these resignations.
Anybody?
I'll make the motion to accept these resignations as listed.
Thank you.
Is that you, Trustee Clee?
second it.
Deb Campbell, thank you. Any questions? Any discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call please on the motion to accept these resignations as listed.
Mrs. Funk, yes. Mr. Clee,
Yes.
Ms. Campbell,
Yes,
Mrs. Vert,
Yes,
Mrs. Anderson,
Yes.
Ms. Miller, Ms. Miller,
Oh, am I on mute? Yes,
motion carries.
thank you. Action item E is to consider the position of fire administrator. You have the information in the board packet, and just briefly, a few things. We have some work to do in the fire department. We've got a budget that's coming up, and we also have the testing, which is a lot of work, I think, to set up the testing for a new chief. We need some help, and I recommend that we ask Kevin to take on these the administrative duties. And so I want to be clear in the duties that were given to the board. There's a couple of corrections I want to make. Under the, if there's any, just make sure I get this accurate. Any type of discipline that needs to be given, I said in there that the other firefighters don't or can't do pass out discipline to the other firefighters because they're all part of the same union. And I stand corrected. It's not so much they can't, that's not recognized in the contract. It's more of a, they don't or haven't. Am I more accurate on that, Kevin? I just want to make sure the trustees know this. Or assistant.
Yes, ma'am. I think Mark can maybe feel the same thing. In the past, they haven't gave out discipline. The only person that gave discipline was the chief or the fire chief.
But if there is assistant chief or captain or lieutenant, they are able to, if necessary, discipline anyone of a lower rank, right?
Correct. My understanding there is supervisors, and part of being a supervisor is disciplining, which is not the very fun part about being a boss, but that's part of being a boss at times too.
Is that accurate, Assistant Chief Raleigh?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And then the next thing I want to clarify is the date. Put on there, the ending date would be December 31st, but I would ask that the board would extend it till we get a new chief in place sometime in January, just a couple more weeks. I don't know what, do you have any, do we know an exact date?
I don't know an exact date. It depends on who actually tests for the position again. If it goes down to the third year, I think the third year is January 7th. Mark, help me out a little bit.
Yeah, January 7th would be the third year guys that would be eligible.
So as far as us getting, let's see, that's the date of their eligibility. And then I go back to the date of our meeting. That won't be until January 17th to approve the hiring of a new chief. So I'd ask the board to just extend that deadline a couple of weeks. So a motion would be in order to move forward on the position.
On that one too, I think you got to ask civil service for a name first. And they won't depends on who tests, of course. If you get a senior person test, there's a name right away. But if it goes down to that third level, you got to make sure I'm writing this. If you ask for a name before that date, there won't be a name available. Unless, of course, somebody else passes and takes a test for it. Which they're not passed, nobody's showing an interest to do it. So you have to wait to the 17th, if I remember right, to ask for a name, then promote at the next one. So that'll probably be February, the first Monday in February.
We couldn't ask for a name in December.
I don't think so, because I don't think there's a name available in December. Because it's not he won't be a name on the list until January 7th.
All right, so I would ask the board to extend this just till we get the new chief.
I would move that we extend it until we get the new chief. And if it looks like it's the first meeting of February, if we need to be specific about exact date, we can look it up.
Is that your motion?
Yes.
Is there a second to the motion?
Anderson supports.
Ma'am, any further discussion?
Can we be clear on the disciplinary part?
Yes, please ask.
Who you had the conversation about the disciplinary? Will Assistant Chief Raleigh also be able to do that? They'll both be doing that? Moving that from Chief Salter?
I mean,
point of bringing that up. What are you saying?
I will still do that, ma'am. For what I can compare it to the PD side, what I do on the PD side is anytime anybody get a days off, I'll do that discipline, but my sergeants do verbal reprimands and written reprimands.
So you'll be sharing in that?
I'll be sure, yeah, there'll be a whole process.
Okay, thank you. Just want to clarify.
Any other questions?
I got one or a couple. I just, one of them was in regards to the discipline. That was the first question, to make sure that Assistant Chief Raleigh and Chief Salter were working on that together. And I had a lengthy conversation with Chief Salter, and I appreciate that, Chief, for allowing me to have that. And Assistant Chief Raleigh and I also had conversation to make sure to confirm the fact that there's that open-ended conversation will take place for both parties. That way, you know, it alleviates and helps to alleviate any issues. And I think that's what, Kevin, isn't that about what you and I talked about eliminating any hassle that might come across the board? The the other piece is that, and Assistant Chief Rowley had stated to me, he says, hey, I worked with Kevin, I worked with Chief. He's not an issue with that. Working on budgets and working on the administrative pieces and those kinds of things will be beneficial for us to facilitate getting into the point of getting the chief tested and getting that person in place. So I will be supporting this 100%.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
I have something. I wasn't initially going to support this, but I'm going to support it now. I was relying on the fact that Assistant Chief Mike Berkeley served in the role for 2 years without a fire chief in place. I don't know how the discipline and everything went with that, but we were without a chief for 2 years. I also want to point out that the testing might go faster than what we actually think, although January 7th is the set date that a promotion can be made. I know that I ordered the books for the reading list. Those came in week and a half ago, and I turned those over to Bob Florkowski of the Civil Service Commission. So I don't know if the candidates have been given the books yet or not, but they are here and they're ready. And I think that this will be a good opportunity for Chief Salter to mentor and guide and lead Assistant Mark Rowley, who I think is doing an excellent job.
Thank you.
And that's all I have to say.
Ma'am, on that too, you're correct though too, because it depends on who opts to take the test. I mean, if one of the senior firemen decide to take the test, there'll be a chief available before January 7th.
Exactly.
Okay.
Thank
And the
you.
books were not cheap, by the way. I don't think I've ever, well, I guess I have for my son's school, but that was most I've ever had to spend for 3 books. So.
Alrighty. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call please on assigning Chief Salter as fire administrator.
Mr. Klee,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Campo,
Yes.
Mrs. Vert,
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson,
Yes.
Ms. Miller, Ms. Miller,
Yes. Can you hear me?
I
Okay.
can hear you now. I couldn't before.
Sorry about that.
Mrs. Funk, yes, motion carries.
Thank you, board.
Action item F, Chief Salter.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. In your packet is a request to purchase 2 mobile fingerprint ID scanners. A lot of times when they're on the street, the officers frequently come in contact with people either that one, well, don't have any kind of ID, or number 2, lie about their identification. With these type of scanners, they're gonna be able to identify these individuals who have some type of fingerprint profile, either in Michigan or anywhere across the country. The scanners we want to purchase, it can be purchased using the grant money we received from the Department of Justice through the Coronavirus Emergency Supplemental Funding Grant. I had to write that one down. This is a grant that we are going to be able to use that money out of that grant. Only 2 companies offer the scanners, and I recommend purchasing them from DataWorks Plus and ID Networks for the total cost of $9,854. These are pieces of equipment that the officers or the sergeants will be able to have on the road. So when my officers come across somebody that has no ID, they can bring it right to them. A lot of times right now, we got to call the state police to have them use their mobile scanner.
I move that we purchase the 2 fingerprint identification scanners in the amount of $9,854.
We would support that.
On mute, Karen.
I said that's using the grant dollars. So if there's no further discussion, Madam Clerk. Oh, yes, go right ahead.
Chief, if you get any more money, would you be wanting to purchase any more of these?
Right now, there's still some money left for that grant. We're gonna
Okay.
purchase two of them, make sure we use them enough to justify spending them instead of spending the money elsewhere.
Okay. Thanks.
Any further questions or discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call please on purchasing the two mobile fingerprint identification systems with grant money in the amount of $9,854.
Ms. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Vert,
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Funk, yes, Mr. Clee,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Action
Thank you,
item.
board.
Thank you, Chief Felker. Action item G is the sale of township property. I've given you information. We had a resident, his name is Steve and his wife's name's Uwania Bogard. They live on River Forest and they want to purchase one of the properties that the township owns that's adjacent to his property. We've sold him a couple other lots and you have all that information in front of you. He's offered $275. He's paid $250 for the other lots. Now, if the board chooses to approve this, I'd ask that we do a quick claim deed and then also combine the properties. So he's just got he's paying taxes on one parcel. So if this is what the board wants to do, a motion is in order to move forward.
I'll move to approve that for the $250.
It's $275, sorry, Martin.
Oh, it is? Just not,
He's purchased the other ones in the amount of $250. This one's a smidge.
that's what I wrote. Yes, I wrote that wrong. So
Okay.
yeah, 275.
Is there a second to the motion?
Anderson support.
Do we have discussion on this? Any questions? No? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, roll call, please, on the sale of township property to Stephen Uwana Bogard to purchase parcel number 07-10- man, I just lost it.
552.
552-081 in the amount of $275.
Mrs. Vert,
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
you're real hard to hear, Karen.
Really?
Mrs. Funk, yes. Mr. Clee,
Yes.
Ms. Campbell,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Action item H is closed session. We have planned to go into closed session for labor negotiations update with our attorney, Lizzie Mills, and you see Chad Carson on the phone. A motion is in order to do so.
Clee moves that we go and accept the opportunity to go into closed session with Attorney Lizzie Mills and Chad as well.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Roll call, please, on going into closed session with our attorneys for a labor negotiation update.
It'll be at 7:03 PM. Mrs. Anderson,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Funk, yes. Mr. Clee,
Yes.
Ms. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Vert,
Yep. Yes.
motion carries to go into closed session at 7:03 PM.
Have a good night.
To end that conversation, I will email you guys and get with you, Lizzie, on the last thing that we talked about.
We're going back in closed session.
We're what?
We're
We're
in
in
open session.
correct?
Well, we
Yes.
have to vote to go into open session.
I make a motion that we go back into open session
Second,
at 8:15 PM.
Can you take a roll call vote, Kathy, please?
Yep. Mrs. Vert,
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Funk, yes, Mr. Klee,
yes.
Ms. Campbell.
Yes.
All right, we are in open session at 8:15.
Thank you, Lizzie. Thank you, Chad. And number 15 is announcements. So we know that we are going to be having a special meeting in order to set the public hearing for our next board meeting. And we'll look at doing something else that day also. I'll send out emails to see availability of the board during Tuesday next week. Okay, I'll get that out
Sounds-
later tonight.
Okay.
Did
And
you
then,
say you were available, Debbie, next Tuesday during the day?
Yes.
Or- okay.
Yeah, I could be available probably 9 or 10 or,
I know Tom isn't
2:30.
available then, though.
okay.
What time are you available, Tom?
I'm looking to see who's left in the building at that time. Seniors, two. I could be available like, oh crap, hang on, let me just try, 11:30.
I got an 11:30 meeting. Can we do it a smidge later?
No, I'm saying after 11:30, I
After
apologize.
11:30?
Yeah, because my last 2 hours are all seniors and they gone. So if they gone Friday. So I have work to do, but I could Zoom with you guys at 11:45 would
So
fit.
during our special meeting, we can do another closed session and get Kevin involved so that we can all hear the facts that he has to tell us from the accounting office, right?
What day are we looking at?
Tuesday?
25th.
25th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, so do you guys like that 11:45 thing? And I would be sitting in my classroom if that's all right.
I think I can make that work. I have a meeting at 11, but I can
I
say,
have
wanna
an
say
11
12?
o'clock too. 12 would be better for me.
12,
How about you, Deb?
12,
yeah.
Barb,
Kat,
12.
Laura? Will that work?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll make
Okay.
12. I will make 12 work.
Okay. I'll send a message to Lizzie. Okay. So if there's no further business and without objection, we'll call the meeting adjourned. Is that good?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. At work or at play, you're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Oh, hey, she's cute. Nice going, man. Things are going great for you. You've earned a night out. Good drinks, good friends. Yeah, we can go ahead and call this a good night. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Not smart. Yeah, I saw that coming. Say goodbye to her. Ouch, that'll hurt your bank account. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. I hope you like eating frozen dinners. Alone. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.